Captain Maya Patel stood at the viewport of the salvage ship Tenacity, staring at the twisted hulk of metal that her sensors insisted was broadcasting the faintest energy signature. The derelict station had been floating in the Kuiper Belt for at least 3 centuries, ignored by every advanced civilization that had passed through Sol's system since humanity joined the Galactic Commonwealth. "Another pass, Lee," she ordered, eyes fixed on the structure's peculiar geometry. Something about it nagged at her engineer's instincts. The salvage ship's pilot, Li Chen, expertly maneuvered their vessel around the ancient station's perimeter. "Fourth pass, Captain. The quantum scanners from our friends in the Arcturus Confederation still show nothing valuable," Lee reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic controls. "Just like the last 3 times. Maya smiled. "That's exactly what interests me. Why would anyone build something this massive and leave absolutely nothing of value?" She tapped her neural interface, bringing up the historical records they'd gathered. Every analysis by passing alien ships marked this as primitive technology, non-salvageable. But look at these structural patterns. Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, the ship's xenoarchaeologist, floated over from her station. "I've been studying those. They don't match any known construction methods, alien or human. It's almost like they were trying to hide something." Maya finished. "Exactly. Lee, bring us in closer to that irregular section near what looks like an airlock." Sarah prepped the deep scan array. "The one we built, not the Arcturus tech." Their homemade scanner was considered laughably primitive by Commonwealth standards. While other salvage operations relied on quantum resonance imaging and dark matter detection grids, Maya's team had stuck with modified radio waves and basic electromagnetic sensors. The aliens thought it was quaint, like using a stone axe to cut diamonds. The scanner hummed to life, sending simple waves of energy through the derelict's hull. For several minutes, nothing happened. Then Sarah's console lit up like a Christmas tree. "Holy shit," she whispered. "Captain, we're reading. This can't be right. The entire structure is one giant fractal antenna. But it's not receiving. It's containing something. Something big." Maya felt her pulse quicken. "Define big. If these readings are correct, we're looking at a contained pocket of altered spacetime. The geometry of the station itself is part of the containment mechanism. No wonder the quantum scanners couldn't see it. They're too sophisticated. They're looking right through it." Lee let out a low whistle. "Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. Plot us a careful approach to that airlock," Maya ordered. "And someone wake up Marcus. Our quantum physicist is about to have a very interesting day." Marcus Lambert, the Tenacity's resident theoretical physicist, was still rubbing sleep from his eyes when he arrived on the bridge. One look at the scanner data had him fully alert. "This is impossible," he muttered, scrolling through the readings. "The mathematics involved. It's beautiful. Elegant. But it's using principles we thought were completely wrong. These builders, whoever they weren't primitive at all. They just understood something fundamental that everyone else missed." Maya nodded. "Can we get inside safely?" Marcus ran calculations for several minutes before responding. "Yes, but not with any Commonwealth tech. Their quantum-based systems would interact badly with whatever's in there. We need to go old school. Mechanical airlocks, physical tools, analog sensors. Good thing we're the only salvage operation in the sector still keeping that ancient equipment around," Maya said with a grin. "Sarah, get our vintage EVA suits prepped. Lee, lock us in position. Marcus, I want you monitoring these containment readings. If anything shifts even a millimeter, you pull us out." As her crew scrambled to prepare for their expedition, Maya couldn't help but smile. The Commonwealth called humans primitive for clinging to their outdated technologies alongside the new. But Maya had always believed that true advancement meant understanding the foundations, not just adopting the latest shiny toys. The airlock ahead of them held secrets that countless advanced civilizations had missed, simply because they'd forgotten how to look with simple eyes. Whatever they found inside would change humanity's understanding of physics and their place in the galactic community. "All right, people," she announced. "Let's go see what the primitive builders left behind for those smart enough to find it. Something tells me we're about to rewrite some textbooks." The Tenacity hung silently against the backdrop of distant stars as its crew prepared to unlock mysteries that the most advanced species in the galaxy had been too sophisticated to see. Sometimes, Maya reflected, the best way forward was to take a careful look back. 3 months after the Tenacity's discovery, the lowest sub-basement of Earth's Orbital Defense Research Center buzzed with activity. The space they'd commandeered wasn't fancy, just an old storage level that more advanced research divisions had abandoned in favor of their quantum computing labs. But for Dr. Marcus Lambert and his team, it was perfect. "Run the simulation again," Marcus called out, his eyes fixed on the holographic display showing their latest design iteration. Around him, a mix of mechanical engineers, theoretical physicists, and what the Commonwealth would consider obsolete computers worked to unlock the secrets they'd found in that ancient station. Dr. Sarah Rodriguez pulled up the latest scan data from their discovery. The containment geometry is the key. It's not just about the physical structure. It's about creating resonance patterns that the fabric of space-time itself responds to. Like playing a specific note to shatter a wine glass, Marcus nodded. Except we're playing with forces that advanced civilizations have completely forgotten about because their technology evolved in a different direction. The hologram shifted, showing their prototype design. To any Commonwealth engineer, it would look absurd. A spacecraft with none of the expected quantum drives, dark matter shields, or antimatter weapons. Instead, its hull was a complex series of geometric patterns that, to the untrained eye, appeared almost random. Lieutenant Commander Jessica Chen from Earth Defense Force walked in, carrying fresh coffee for the team. She'd been assigned as their military liaison when the project's potential implications became clear. "How's our ugly duckling coming along?" Marcus grinned. "We're getting there. The basic principle is solid. We can create localized space-time distortions using purely mechanical means. No quantum manipulation required. The hard part is controlling it. The Commonwealth's going to laugh themselves sick when they see this," Jessica noted, studying the design. "No energy weapons, no force fields, not even standard engines. They'll think we've gone backwards 1,000 years." "That's exactly what we want them to think," Sarah interjected, pulling up another set of calculations. "The beauty of this system is that it's invisible to advanced scanning technology. They literally cannot see what we're doing because they're looking for the wrong things." Marcus walked over to a physical model they'd constructed, a simple geometric shape that, when spun at exactly the right speed, caused small objects placed near it to experience unusual gravitational effects. The ancients who built that station understood something fundamental about the universe that everyone else has forgotten. They knew that space-time itself can be manipulated through purely mechanical means if the geometry is perfect. "And we're building a warship based on this principle?" Jessica asked, raising an eyebrow. "Not exactly," Marcus replied. "We're building something that looks like a warship but operates on completely different principles. When it's finished, it won't shoot weapons or raise shields in the traditional sense. Instead, it will create controlled distortions in space-time itself." Sarah pulled up another simulation. "Imagine throwing a rock into a pond. The ripples affect everything they touch. Now imagine being able to control those ripples with perfect precision, but in the fabric of space-time instead of water. That's what our primitive ship will be able to do. And the best part," Marcus added with a slight smile, "the more advanced technology you use against it, the less effective it becomes. Quantum torpedoes, dark matter beams, antimatter weapons, they'll all behave unpredictably when they hit our distortion fields. The very sophistication of Commonwealth weapons will work against them." Jessica watched the simulation run its course, showing how their vessel could theoretically create gravitational lenses that would bend enemy fire away, or generate time dilation fields that would make the ship appear to be where it wasn't. This is going to change everything, isn't it? That's the idea, Marcus said softly. Humanity's been playing catch-up since we joined the Commonwealth, trying to match their level of technological advancement. But maybe we've been going about it all wrong. Maybe the real advancement comes from understanding the basic principles they've forgotten. The team worked through the night, refining their designs and running countless simulations. In the corner of the lab, a small plaque had been mounted, bearing words from Arthur C. Clarke. Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Below it, someone had added, and sometimes, the most advanced technology looks deceptively simple. As the first light of dawn crept into the sub-basement through ancient ventilation shafts, Project Rust Bucket, officially designated the EDF Archimedes, began to take shape. It wouldn't be pretty, it wouldn't be sophisticated, but it would change the balance of power in ways the Commonwealth could never see coming. Because sometimes, the best way to advance isn't to build something new, but to rediscover something ancient that everyone else has forgotten. The EDF Archimedes drifted silently at the edge of the Ta-Ceti system, its unusual hull geometry, making it look more like a derelict than a cutting-edge warship. Captain Jessica Chen, newly promoted to command this experimental vessel, watched her crew run through final system checks with quiet confidence. Geometric resonance field stable, reported Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, now serving as both science officer and chief engineer. The hull is maintaining perfect fractal harmony. Marcus Lambert, who had insisted on joining the maiden voyage as technical advisor, monitored his own unique set of instruments. Space-time fabric readings nominal. We're creating exactly the kind of invisible ripples we predicted. The bridge of the Archimedes was unlike anything in the Commonwealth fleet. Instead of holographic displays and quantum interfaces, it featured precision mechanical gauges and analog readouts. The ship's control systems were deliberately designed to look primitive and to be immune to the kind of sophisticated cyber warfare that advanced civilizations relied upon. "Contact," called out Lieutenant Park from the sensor station. 3 vessels just dropped out of quantum space. Configuration matches hegemony warships. The Varix Hegemony, one of the Commonwealth's more aggressive members, known for testing the borders of less advanced civilizations. Jessica straightened in her chair. They hadn't expected to encounter hostiles this soon, but maybe it was better to test their theories early. "They're scanning us," Park reported. "Standard quantum resonance sweep. They're showing confusion. I don't think their sensors can make sense of our ship." "Incoming transmission," Sarah announced. A holographic screen flickered to life, revealing the insectoid features of a Varix commander. Its mandibles clicked in what the translation software identified as amusement. "Unidentified vessel," the alien commander chittered. "You have entered restricted space with what appears to be a severely outdated craft. For your own safety, power down and prepare to be tractored to the nearest station for inspection." Jessica smiled pleasantly. "This is Captain Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Archimedes. We're conducting peaceful research operations in what our charts show as unrestricted space. Perhaps there's been a misunderstanding." The Varix commander's compound eyes gleamed. "Ah, humans, still relying on such primitive technology. Your charts are outdated. This system now falls under hegemony protection. Comply with our instructions, or we will be forced to disable your vessel." Marcus leaned close to Jessica's chair. "They're positioning for a standard 3-point attack formation. Exactly what we predicted they'd do." "Status of the resonance fields?" Jessica asked quietly. "Perfect," Sarah replied. "They literally can't see what we're really doing. Their quantum sensors are showing them exactly what we want them to see, a pathetically outdated human ship." The Varix commander grew impatient. "Your vessel appears to lack even basic shield technology. This is your final warning. Power down or be destroyed." Jessica's smile never wavered. "I understand your concern, Commander. But I should warn you, appearances can be deceiving. Perhaps you'd like to reconsider your approach." The answer came in the form of a blindingly bright quantum torpedo launched from the lead hegemony vessel. It streaked toward the Archimedes, its sophisticated guidance systems ensuring a perfect hit. Or it should have. The torpedo passed through the space where the Archimedes appeared to be, continuing on into empty space before detonating harmlessly. The ship wasn't where it seemed. The geometric patterns in its hull had created a localized distortion in spacetime, shifting it slightly out of phase with normal space. "Impossible," the Varix commander screeched. "Our targeting systems confirmed a direct hit." "All hands," Jessica called out calmly. "Prepare to demonstrate what primitive technology can really do." "Sarah, begin primary resonance sequence." "Marcus, calculate optimal geometric configurations for a cascading spacetime ripple." The Archimedes hull began to shift, its seemingly random patterns realigning into new configurations. To the hegemony's quantum sensors, it would appear to be nothing more than minor structural fluctuations. But in reality, they were about to create waves in the fabric of spacetime itself. "They're launching a full spread of torpedoes," Park reported. "All 3 ships, multiple vectors." Jessica nodded. "Perfect. Let's show them why sometimes the old ways are the best ways." "Sarah, execute primary sequence." "Let's make some waves." The space around the Archimedes began to ripple, though no conventional sensor could detect it. The human vessel was about to teach the hegemony a lesson about underestimating primitive technology and change the balance of power in this region of space forever. The space around the Archimedes erupted with quantum torpedoes and dark matter beams as the hegemony ships launched their full assault. But something extraordinary was happening. Each sophisticated weapon seemed to behave erratically, missing their target or passing harmlessly through space that should have contained the human vessel. "Geometric configuration, alpha complete," Sarah reported, her hands dancing across mechanical controls that would have looked more at home in a 20th century submarine than a spaceship. "Creating primary ripple effect now." The Archimedes hull thrummed with deep, subsonic vibrations. To an outside observer, it might have seemed like the ship was falling apart. But each vibration was precisely calculated, creating overlapping waves in the fabric of spacetime itself. "Incoming transmission from the hegemony flagship," Park announced. "They're demanding to know what kind of shield technology we're using." Jessica's smile widened. "No shields necessary when you can convince space itself to redirect their attacks." "Marcus, are we ready for Phase 2? Marcus nodded, his eyes fixed on readings that measured phenomena most advanced civilizations have forgotten existed. "The space-time fabric is perfectly tensioned, ready to snap back on your command." On the Varix commander's screen, Jessica maintained her professional demeanor. "I'll make this simple, Commander. Your weapons cannot harm us, but we'd rather avoid unnecessary conflict. Stand down, and we can discuss this situation diplomatically." The insectoid alien's mandibles clattered in fury. "Impossible. No primitive vessel could withstand our weapons. All ships switch to time dilation beams. Let's see them dodge attacks that distort time itself." "Exactly what we were waiting for," Marcus whispered. "They're about to learn why you don't use time-based weapons against a ship that can control space-time geometry." The hegemony vessels fired in perfect synchronization, their most powerful weapons designed to trap enemy ships in bubbles of slowed time. But as the beams approached the Archimedes, something unprecedented happened. The geometric patterns on the hull shifted again, and suddenly the time dilation effects were caught in a complex web of space-time distortions, reflecting their temporal attack back at them. Sarah announced. "But not just reflecting. We're using their own weapons' energy to amplify our geometric resonance." The effects were spectacular. Each hegemony vessel found itself trapped in its own peculiar bubble of warped spacetime. To their crews, it would appear as if the rest of the universe had started behaving according to impossible physics. "Their quantum drives are failing," Park reported with a hint of awe in his voice. "They can't maintain stable field coherence within our distortion pattern." The Varix commander's image flickered wildly on the screen. What kind of technology is this? Our sensors show nothing but primitive materials. That's exactly the point, Jessica replied calmly. You've all become so dependent on quantum this and dark matter that you've forgotten the fundamental principles that make those technologies work. We didn't build a better quantum drive or more powerful weapons. We just remembered how to talk directly to spacetime itself. Marcus stepped forward. Your sensors can't detect what we're doing because you're looking for the wrong things. It's like trying to understand ocean waves by measuring the air above them. You're missing the actual phenomenon entirely. The hegemony ships hung helpless in space, their sophisticated technology rendered useless by principles so basic that advanced civilizations had dismissed them centuries ago. Sarah's console showed their power systems fluctuating wildly as they tried to compensate for conditions their designers had never imagined possible. Final warning, Commander, Jessica announced. Stand down and withdraw, or we can demonstrate what happens when these geometric patterns are used more aggressively. To emphasize her point, she nodded to Marcus, who adjusted their hull configuration slightly. The space around one of the hegemony support ships briefly twisted in on itself, causing every quantum-based system on the vessel to simultaneously fail. The Varix commander's mandibles drooped in surrender. Stand down, it ordered its fleet. All ships, power down weapons. We submit to your terms, human vessel. As the hegemony ships struggled to stabilize their systems, Jessica exchanged glances with her crew. They had just proved that humanity's primitive understanding of spacetime could trump the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. But this was only the beginning. Send word to Earth, she ordered Park. Tell them Project Rust Bucket was a complete success, and tell them to prepare for Phase 2. I have a feeling the galaxy is about to become very interested in our outdated technology. 1 month after the Tau Ceti incident, the Grand Assembly Chamber of the Commonwealth Council buzzed with an energy not seen in centuries. Representatives from 100 advanced civilizations argued heatedly about the implications of what had happened. At the center of it all stood Captain Jessica Chen, Dr. Marcus Lambert, and Dr. Sarah Rodriguez, the humans who had shaken the foundations of galactic military doctrine. Preposterous, thundered the quantum archbishop of the Arcturus Confederation, his energy form flickering with agitation. You expect us to believe that your geometric resonance technology operates on principles we've forgotten. We are the inheritors of 1,000,000 years of scientific advancement. Marcus stepped forward, carrying what looked like a simple metal cube. With respect, Archbishop, sometimes advancement means remembering what was lost. May I demonstrate? The Archbishop gestured magnanimously, certain that whatever primitive device the humans had brought couldn't possibly impress the assembled dignitaries. Marcus placed the cube on the chamber's central platform and activated it with an old-fashioned mechanical switch. Instantly, every quantum-based sensor in the chamber went dark. Sophisticated scanning devices displayed impossible readings. Several delegates' personal shields flickered and failed. This device, Marcus explained, creates a perfectly tuned geometric pattern in spacetime itself. No quantum technology, no dark matter manipulation, no antimatter reactions, just pure mathematics expressed through simple mechanical resonance. Sarah joined him, holding up a datapad displaying basic wave equations. You've all built your civilizations on quantum mechanics and advanced particle physics. But in doing so, you forgot that space-time itself can be manipulated through much simpler means if you understand the underlying mathematics. The Varix commander who had surrendered to the Archimedes stepped forward, mandibles clicking thoughtfully. We analyzed the battle data for weeks. Their ship created effects we thought impossible, yet our most advanced sensors couldn't even detect how they did it. Jessica addressed the assembly with quiet confidence. Humanity doesn't seek to replace quantum technology or undo centuries of progress. We're simply suggesting that there's value in remembering the foundations. The Archimedes succeeded because it operated on principles so fundamental that they've been forgotten in the rush to develop ever more complex solutions. The chamber erupted in discussion. Some delegates demanded immediate access to the human discoveries. Others warned of the dangers of spreading such destabilizing technology. A few simply sat in stunned silence, reconsidering everything they thought they knew about technological progress. An ancient being of pure energy, one of the oldest members of the Commonwealth, floated down to examine Marcus's cube more closely. "I remember," it whispered in frequencies that made the air shimmer. "Long ago, before quantum mechanics, before dark matter drives, we knew these principles. We built wonders with them. But we thought we had outgrown such simple things." The High Council President called for order. "It seems," she announced, "that humanity has given us all a valuable lesson. True advancement isn't always about complexity. Sometimes it's about understanding the simple truths that underlie everything." In the weeks that followed, the galaxy changed. The Archimedes became the first of many ships incorporating both quantum technology and geometric resonance principles. Research stations were established to rediscover other forgotten fundamentals of physics. The humans' primitive understanding had sparked a renaissance of scientific exploration. Back on Earth, Maya Patel stood at the viewport of the salvage ship Tenacity, watching construction begin on a new series of research facilities. The ancient derelict station that had started it all had been carefully moved to orbit, its secrets still not fully understood. "You know what the funny thing is?" she said to her crew. "We never did figure out who built that station. Maybe they were like us, a civilization that understood the value of keeping things simple." Marcus nodded, holding up his latest calculations. "The quantum physicists are still struggling to explain how our technology works. They keep trying to analyze it through the lens of advanced theory, missing the basic principles staring them in the face." "That's humanity's gift to the galaxy," Sarah added. "We reminded them that sometimes the most powerful forces are also the most fundamental. You just have to be willing to look at old problems with new eyes." As the sun set on another Earth day, ships of all descriptions moved through the solar system. Some bristled with quantum technology, others displayed the clean lines of geometric resonance architecture, and many combined both approaches in novel ways. The galaxy had entered a new age, one where progress meant not just moving forward, but also remembering to look back. In the end, humanity's greatest contribution to galactic civilization wasn't a new technology at all. It was the reminder that true wisdom often lies in understanding the simple principles that govern the universe, principles so fundamental that even the most advanced civilizations had forgotten they existed.